It is the 40th anniversary this week. 40 years of Star Wars and the Empire and the Force and Dagobah and Cloud City and Lando and C-3PO's arm being ripped off and Han making that awesome line of, I know, when Leia's like, I love you. So many good things.
Great things.
I just want to spend a little bit of time talking about our favorite parts.
Oh, wow.
Bubba Fett.
That's your favorite part?
No, there's so many good parts to Empire.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I can boil it down to one. But in the meantime, Arjuna, what's your favorite part? Thank you.
I think my favorite part, and it goes back to when I'm a kid. When you're a kid, it's the Battle of Hoth. That epic battle that starts off this movie legitimately with a bang. The Empire legitimately strikes back right at the beginning of the movie, delivers a huge blow to the rebels, and it's a cool battle because the way it's delivered is they do get some small victories, right? You're not just seeing the heroes lose, right? They not Luke is able to knock down the ATT Walker and the AT-AT. Okay, whatever. They are able to escape, but they lose a lot of people. They lose a major base.
Secret base.
Yeah, and to me that is still one of the most iconic battles in Star Wars lore, right? There's so many video games that
Shadows
battle,
of the Empire.
that you can play and you can kind of recreate, and there's so much stuff from that. The little probe droids. A lot of the weaponry and the scenery and stuff that you see is some of the most iconic Star Wars stuff. And it probably now as you're older and you can be more cynical, it's like, yeah, why'd they pick an ice planet? Well, you can have different variations on the same things from the first movie and, all this stuff, but it was still really well done. And it, as a kid, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Battle of Hoth is by far, I'll agree with that. Battle of Hoth is one of the most iconic Star Wars things out there. I think it's up there with just Vader's presence and just Vader being Vader. The Battle of Hoth is like one of those battles that you'll always remember because it is so very, 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 very unique.
Well, I would argue, right, if you just did a poll of people, not just Star Wars fans, anyone about Star Wars, and asked them to name a planet, right? Tatooine would obviously be number one, and I bet Hoth would be number two.
Yeah, you're probably
Dagobah's
right.
number 3.
Oh, not Jakku?
Get out of here, you freak! You Fruit Loop.
Not Coruscant?
Oh yes, Coruscant.
Coruscant only became relevant because of the prequels, and even then,
Not Naboo?
not Naboo.
Naboo.
Christian, what about you? What would you say is that the thing that sticks out for you the most in Empire?
Yeah, I mean, you said there's a lot, but I'm gonna go with the what do you call it? The trite, the cliche one. Luke, I am your father.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Duh.
the way it's I don't know if anyone watches Kevin James's YouTube channel. He has this little series where he's a sound guy, and basically he green screens himself
Into movies.
and he's holding the boom, and he's the sound guy. And we just recently watched that scene with Kevin James in there. He's getting the sound for Darth Vader and Luke, and Darth Vader says, Luke, I am your father. And I got shivers. This is a spoof.
Well, actually, the technical line is, "No, I am your."
Yeah.
Not
I
Luke,
know.
I
No,
am.
I know that.
Getting it wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm getting my own favorite part wrong. But I still got shivers. This is a spoof. This is a joke YouTube video. It's still the original footage, but Kevin James is just there going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
He's learning it in real time with us, and there's no music. I think right when he says, "No, I am your father," there's no music.
Yep. And then the music
Luke
kicks in.
And I'm gonna, the acting in Star Wars is not great. It's never been great. It will never be known for great acting.
Vader.
But James Earl Jones, I agree.
That's voice
but-
acting too.
Mark Hamill, in my opinion, in that scene is probably his best job because he is crying. He is like, "No!" It's over the top, and some might even say corny as hell.
I think he goes he's like, "No,
It can't
that's
be
impossible."
Yeah.
It is by
so
far,
great.
it's by far the most
It's so
revealing, most
great.
iconic moment, right? I mean, it's on our thumbnail,
Yeah.
and even in our background over there, you can see behind Christian, move your big head.
Oh.
You can see, right there, Vader. That's the moment right there. It's really, really
I mean,
tiny, but
if it's not the biggest reveal in movie history is top 3, top 5.
Snape killing Dumbledore.
No,
Nobody gives a fuck about that.
like it's up there with
people do like Harry Potter.
Kaiser Sose. I think that's how you say his name.
Don't spoil it for people who haven't seen it.
I'm not gonna say. I'm
Say
not gonna
what?
say who.
Don't spoil it.
No, nothing. We can't. Is it The Usual Suspects?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like Kevin Spacey movie
Gotcha.
before he was. You know,
Yep.
Yeah,
Moving on from that.
But yeah, it's up there with the top movie reveals of all time. So in my opinion, yeah, that is the best.
Oh, but, like the Fast and Furious being all about family. That was a twist I didn't see coming. I just thought they were racing movies.
Oh my God.
My favorite part, I think, is just the overall use of the Force and how weird it gets, right? So if you remember, like, if this is your first time ever watching Star Wars, you have Episode 4, and for the most part, it's a pretty straightforward story. It's good versus evil, right? It's they've got magic space wizards, and they've got these shiny little beam swords, and it's cool and whatever.
And they can move stuff.
And they can move stuff. And there's a little explanation discussion what the Force is. But then when you meet Yoda and Yoda is talking about what the Force is and being able to see the future and hear things through the Force, it's very Force-like. It's weird. It's like the first time in Star Wars that we get more about the Force. And I've always, even with the new stuff and expanded Star Wars, I've always loved the Force stuff because it's weird and it's wonky and it's just strange. And there's no minus the fucking midichlorians, there's no like science behind it or reasoning or whatever. Or there's reasoning, but it's not like X's and O's and ones and zeros. It can be whatever it wants to be.
Yeah.
So that to me is like the thing that makes Episode 5 stick out in that trilogy. Now power rank all the movies. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
We'll be here forever.
9 through 1.
And we've done that already. In fact, if you want it, you can. We can't name drop the episode, but we did that already. Go check out Rise of Skywalker review, maybe.
I don't know if we did. I thought we power ranked the trilogies in that one.
Oh, okay.
Something
Yeah,
like
I'm not sure.
So here to wrap out the whole Star Wars Empire thing, it's 40 years, obviously, right, since Empire came out. Most likely, statistically speaking, 40 other years will pass. What do you think in another 40 years? What does the Star Wars landscape look like?
What?
Like, just imagine you could wake up tomorrow and it's 40 years in the future. So at that point, Empire has been out for 80 years. The new trilogy has been roughly out by itself for 40 years.
Yeah, 40
What's the landscape?
Oh,
There's at least 2 new trilogies.
2 more trilogies.
At least.
I would
Star
say
Wars
4.
yeah. I'm going conservative here. Like, the blockbusters finally collapse, and we go in the cyclical nature that is the human race and go back to more standalone types of movies and away from the blockbusters. But honestly, in 40 years, I hope Star Wars is a little more niche, like it used to be. Honestly, I hate that it. Part of the reason there's so much stuff is because it is so popular. It is so mass appealing, and when something becomes mass appealing, it becomes this giant machine, right? And it becomes what you got with the sequel trilogy and all these TV shows and these toys and these books and everything
Stuff.
and you become the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's just like, oh boy, Doctor Strange.
It's just there's not a lot of
Yeah.
like what makes episodes 4, 5, and 6 so cool and whatever is there was obviously merchandise up the wazoo,
Sure.
but there was also not a increase of having to introduce, like Arjuna says, Marvel Cinematic Universe, where there's like a character for every single human being on the planet. It's more like there's a hyper focus on the characters given and creating stories through books, novelizing, whatever, to make that character more interesting. But now we've got the ability to just make a whole new 1,000 characters.
I mean, roll back the tape 1 week, and your guys' proposal to fix the sequels was to do another 3 movies.
Yeah.
And like that's
Correct.
probably what's gonna happen. Honestly, like the execs will be like, okay, you know what? People want episodes 10, 11. They're going to do some spin-off movies and TV shows. Some of them will do well. Some of them won't. They'll be like, we're not making $2 billion a year off Star Wars, so we need more movies. And it's just like,
I know what's going to look like.
can't-
I know what's going to look like in 40 years.
and that's like one property that hasn't been touched by reboots or sequels or anything like that I love. Back to the Future, right? You have the original trilogy
Give
of
it
Back to
time.
the Future movie. No, because the producer until the producer dies,
Yeah.
who has the rights and is sitting on them, and it's like, you cannot touch these until
Yeah.
I'm dead. Because then they'll be put up to auction, and Warner Brothers or someone will buy it and then reboot it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
happen.
I love that those movies stand apart. There's no sequels to them. There's nothing. Like, you can watch them. It's a perfect trilogy. and it's great. But like, and I kind of wish there was still that for Star Wars, but there's.
Yeah. I know. In 40 years, we're going to have definitely in episodes 10, 11, and 12. And we're going to have the longest running Star Wars television series ever. Don't know what it is yet.
The Mandalorian?
No, it won't be The
No,
Mandalorian.
no. They're
They're going to
go
start one in the next 5 years.
Yes,
and it's
we-
going to be keep going for another
Yeah, it's gonna be a
40.
soap opera.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Like-
soap opera.
No. ABC, because remember, it's all Disney, right? So ABC, they have ABC.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna launch like a full-on soap opera.
Yeah.
But it takes place in the Star Wars universe.
It'll be this. It'll be Boy Meets World, and it's going to be about a young boy who discovers his Jedi powers, and Rey trains him, and then he eventually grows up. He dabbles in the dark side. Like Boy Meets World and like those like coming of age stories, and we're gonna see him grow up and become an adult, maybe become half cyborg, dabbles in the dark side, breaks a few hearts. It's gonna be great.
but sitcom style.
This
should
is
be.
my most outrageous prediction. In 40 years, there'll be like either a trilogy of movies or like a 20-season show about a speeder. And like the history of this speeder, and there's just gonna be something like so obscure and stupid, and they're just gonna make a franchise within a franchise.
I think you're wrong.
Nope.
That doesn't sound right. Hopefully, in 4 years, I can still dress up in Stormtrooper armor, and people are like, "Oh, I know what that is." Because that would be depressing if I throw on classic Stormtrooper armor, and you walk into a convention, and people are like, "Who are you supposed to be?"
Yeah, it'll never.
That would be depressing.
It'll never happen.
Who knows? Never say
40,
never.
40 years is a long time.
It is a very long time.
It's
Some like the
not
original,
long enough.
the very first like Comic-Con was what, back in the 70s. I guarantee you, some of those costumes back then, if they appeared today, you'd be like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
But back then, they're so relevant and you recognize them. So you never know.
No, I do.
We have this question here for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why this
was
is here.
Empire Strikes Back good? No shit. Yeah, it was good.
It was not good.
Go to hell.
It was
You probably
great.
You probably liked Episode 9 more than Episode 5.
No, Empire is the best Star Wars movie.
There you go.